Hello and welcome to episode number 2 of We Apologise for What You're About to Hear. It is a conversational podcast with two best mates having stupid conversations and talking utter nonsense. Yay! We were on episode 2. Are you excited? I'm excited.
Woo! I am excited. We made it through episode 1 without killing anyone, including ourselves, because we were mostly stationary, so that's a bonus. And we've made it back to episode 2, which I'm very proud of us for doing this. We've made it quite well, hopefully.
I think episode 1, when I was editing it, it sounded okay.
Okay, let's pray for anyone who listens, basically.
All right then. Shall we start? I think you should start with what is floating your boat this week, because you didn't have anything last week.
Well, I didn't have anything last week, and then this week I have more than one.
Oh, making up for last time.
Yeah, it feels like I'm cheating because it's not just 2 to make up for last week. It was like earlier in the week I was like, everything is just making me happy. Like everything is really rocking my world. So the first thing is I text you the pictures because I'm a vain twat, and I used shampoo, the new Lee Stafford for the Love of Curls range, and oh my god, the difference it makes to my normally, you can't tell I've got wavy hair because it just the wave falls out the minute it dries. But when it was wet, my god, it was boom, curls. So that, and also the main reason I bought it was was nothing to do with what it does for my hair, but the Lee Stafford smell. Oh my gosh. So it used to be, when the range first came out, it was poker straight. And everyone wanted poker straight hair in the early 2000s. And that is the shampoo I took with me to my first trip to Hong Kong. And so the smell just immediately transports me back to Hong Kong and having a shower. As,
just showering.
And in your early 20s, you're stupid enough to wash your hair every day because nobody realises they've got less time in their life than they think to wash their hair. So it transports me straight back to Hong Kong. And at the minute, no one's travelling because COVID. And joy of joys. That's my little way of travelling back to Hong Kong in my mind, is to wash my hair. And it made me want to wash my hair more than once a week, which
you only wash your hair
is
once
an achievement in itself. Yeah, it's dyed, so I don't need to wash it more than once a week. The dye strips your hair of so much condition that you don't really want to wash it that often. But also, once you stop washing your hair regularly, it really doesn't need washing very often.
See, I've got it
That's
to 3 days and it'll look okay, but after day 3, I'm looking homeless. It's
push it
terrible.
that extra day. Push it the extra day every week. Just keep pushing it, and you'll get there. I mean, I can go nearly 2 weeks. That's don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to sniff my own hair. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sniff my own hair.
Dirty.
That's not something. Yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't. Like I say, I'm not going to encourage anyone to do that and then sniff their own hair. It's gross, especially if you're working out. Please rinse your hair after a workout, guys. It's sweat.
Gross.
But I can, if I want to, push it to 2 weeks and not have it looking like it needs to be washed.
That's good then.
Yeah, and it's only really because I do have a dog, and hair does gather pollution smells and whatever, that I'm yeah, bitch, this really needs a wash. So that's my first thing that's floating my boat. And I completely forgot the second thing, but I will find it in 2 seconds, because it's actually a YouTube channel.
Listen to this
I've just
now,
forgotten
everyone.
her
While
name.
she's finding everything, what I'm going to tell you is she turned up on episode 1 with nothing. She's got nothing.
Hi, Ruby.
And then episode 2, she brings one thing, and then another, and then doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, I just can't remember the YouTube channel. It is a YouTube channel of a booktuber, and she is, let me see. She's really good. She's American. I mean, aren't they all? Because nobody likes
everyone who reads books
likes
is American. I know it.
No, but I mean, YouTubers in general, the most popular ones tend to be American. There aren't that many huge.
KSI. I don't watch KSI, but KSI is one of the biggest English YouTubers.
Never heard of.
Did you not
Never.
hear about the Logan Paul KSI boxing match that like made them millions?
Oh, you mean the one that was super controversial because everyone was dead packed in there, nobody was wearing masks or social distancing in the middle of a pandemic?
This was the other year. This was before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Because they had like a
'cause there was
draw or
one-
something. I didn't watch it. They had a draw, and it was like that was. That's what I thought you meant by controversial, because they like hyped this match up so much, and then they had a draw, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're just going to do number 2 and then make even more money." And
okay. So, no, I did not hear about that. I heard of one this year that happened, and it was basically a bunch of TikTok influencers all gathering for this boxing match and having a really great time when everyone else was self-isolating, staying away from their families at Christmas and Thanksgiving time because pandemic, and they didn't want to kill their elderly or vulnerable relatives. But, you know, TikTokers don't need to care about that.
have you found your channel?
They're millionaires. I have. There's actually so her name is Murphy Napier. She's a booktuber from America, and I absolutely love the way she describes books, the way she talks about them. It's very sort of, she is impassioned about them because she loves them, but she can also talk about them in a more intellectual way, as though you were in a seminar with her discussing literature. And I really like that because that's what I enjoyed at university, and I like looking at books that way. And we share a lot of similar favourite authors. So, I mean, I wasn't planning on buying myself any new books. I've got probably over 50 that I haven't read yet, which is terrible. And I'm not including my Kindle books. So, but I did end up watching her over Christmas and buying myself a couple of new ebooks because mostly because she talked so passionately and talked so well about them when she discussed them. And one of them is one of my favourite authors, which is Daphne du Maurier, who wrote Rebecca, but she also wrote one of my favourite books, The Scapegoat. So I did end up buying myself My Cousin Rachel. I'm very much enjoying that at the moment. And then the other one, which I had no previous interest in, was a Jane Austen book, Northanger Abbey. And I haven't started that yet. I have not started it, so I'm just trying to get my way through My Cousin Rachel, which is just really like ticking all the boxes for me to be reading like post Christmas New Year. So yeah, so those are the two major things floating my boat: is Murphy Napier and my new shampoo. The smell of my new shampoo, very specifically. It is the smell. Yeah, it's the smell. For me, that and the perfume Alien by Thierry Mugler are the smell of Hong Kong, even though actually the smell of Hong Kong was pretty horrific when I landed. So, but in my head, those are the two things that take me, the 2 scents that take me straight back to that feeling of my very first adventure abroad, and also being completely alone and free to do whatever I want and explore. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So that's me. What about you?
I'm gonna have a little confession to you now as well. I haven't read a book for for like months and months and months, and I feel so bad about it.
You should.
I feel like I was halfway through my CJ Tudor The Other People book, and I don't know what happened. I was really, really enjoying it, like having a really good time. Every time I picked it up, I was like so excited to read it. And then I literally haven't picked it up for about, I'd say start of November I stopped.
Oh wow! So for you, that's quite a while.
A long time not to read a book. I think, just obviously podcast doesn't know this, but I want to be an author one day, so I am trying to like write as much as I can.
Well, you're not trying to write. You are.
I am writing. As much as I'm not just staring at a
you're not trying.
Staring at a keyboard going, how to wait a minute, these are all weird shapes and I don't know what to press. So I am writing like every day.
You are actually writing.
Every day I do try to write. But just reading at the minute has felt like such a daunting task that I've been like, I cannot. Like, and the second I actually pick it up, I'm really, like any book, I'm like, yeah, I'm really enjoying myself. But just finding like the headspace and the mental like capacity to go, right, I'm going to go now spend like 10 minutes reading or whatever. I think that's the thing as well, because I'm on like draft 1 billion of this book. Adele can attest the amount of times I'm going, yeah, I'm just going to rewrite this whole section.
Uh-huh.
And I just feel like every free second I have, I want to spend on that.
Mm-hmm. And this is not book 1 for Danielle. This is book 2.
Is book 2.
And she even now is still occasionally going back to book 1 and going, oh, I'm just going to rewrite that.
I'm just going to do that.
Because she's never satisfied.
That's just like life.
Never
That's like my
happy.
entire life. Never satisfied. But yeah, so that's my like big confession. I haven't read a book for so long, and it's like my bookshelf is staring at me with judgmental eyes.
Yeah,
going,
well, I am as well. I'm joining it. Me and your bookshelf, we're both doing that.
And I also stopped listening to my audiobooks. I stopped everything. But like last night on my drive home from work, I'm like, right, put it on. Put your audiobook on. But the audiobook I'm listening to is, it's Game of Thrones, but I want to say A Feast of Crows. It's like the 4th one. That's probably wrong. I'm probably completely wrong, but I think it's A Feast of Crows. And it is really interesting and it's really good, but it's so dense. Like the book itself is so dense. So when I was like working a lot, I drive home and I listen to an audiobook when I drive home. I find that's the most easiest time to listen because I'm trying to wind down a bit. I've been at work all day. I just want to listen to something. But it's so dense and so heavy. And then I'm sometimes sitting in the car going, shall I just put the radio on? Shall I just not deal with that today? But I put it back on yesterday and I was enjoying it and I'm like, right, you need to sort yourself out. And because I can tell that my writing is suffering because I'm not reading, if that makes sense.
They do say, like one of the things that makes a better writer is to read as much as you must always write as much as you can. Just write no matter what, even if you think it's a total pile of shice.
And it is, but
right.
Yes.
But also but also it's so important to keep on reading and to read as many genres as possible to make you a much broader and better writer. I mean, I'm saying this as someone who doesn't write very often. Yeah, not yet anyway. I'm lazy. Someone who's lazy about writing, who writes when she can be arsed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, I know.
So that was like my issue. And I listened to the audiobook yesterday and I was writing something this morning and I could literally be like, oh my God, this is so much better now. Because I've gone to like doing a chapter a week because there's so many characters, there's so much I want to do with the plot. You know. That
do you think as well part of it is if your head isn't in the right space to read something fictional, then you're almost not in the right space to create something as fictional and fantastical as particularly your kind of storyline that you're writing at the moment. That those head spaces are quite shared space, really. It's not one or the other. It is a shared space. And therefore, if you're not in the mood to read about that, then you're probably not in the right headspace to really create that kind of world as well.
Like I felt like for a while I've just been showing up and maybe working for about 20 minutes and then just getting bored. And I'm like, part of me doesn't understand why I can't just get my head back in the game. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just a bit burnt out with it.
Yeah, which is very possible because you've been writing this one for a fair amount of time now in between.
This one is a year now because I always start at like January.
And you've also had the other book, which you did enter into competition. I know you didn't get any feedback or anything from that, but you did. So you had to take a break during that to go back to the first book, re-edit it to try and make it suitable in very short pressurized space of time to try and make it suitable for a competition entry. And you've also got a day job, which I don't want to but your day job is directly affected by the fact we're in a pandemic. So that adds extra pressure.
Yeah,
it does.
I've had to be there for the whole pandemic. Like I haven't had any time off or anything.
No furlough, no time off. You know, it's extra pressurized for you in your day job, and sometimes you need that space mentally to just have that downtime and let yourself rest.
And then the guilt, the little guilty demon in my head goes, oh, why are you sitting here? What are you doing, boy? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why aren't you writing anything? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, because you are very hard on
Yeah.
yourself.
But then, like, in my head, I'm like, well, I'm not where I want to be. I want to be over there, and I'm over here. So sitting here moaning about the fact I'm not over there doesn't seem very productive. But then also, just blindly, like, pretending to walk and, you know, just going, I am walking, but just standing still and just pacing isn't doing anything
there
either.
is a certain... Yeah, there's a certain balance that I think you need to... And I think this is the same for a lot of people who are either self-employed or who are in a creative business, or who are trying to get their space in a creative world, is that there needs to be this balance of motivation to do the thing and actually get the thing done, but then at the same time recognizing when actually you are genuinely burnt out and need a break. Because if you, in your day job, and in most people's day jobs, you get 20 odd days a year holiday, because that is, and you get to walk away at the end of the day. That's the other thing. If you are not self-employed and you work in an office or work in a actual workspace rather than from home, which I know a lot of people that's changed for recently, you get to shut the door on that and walk away at the end of the day and go home, and you've got headspace. When you are self-employed, which I know you're not earning from this quite yet, but you will at some point, when you are self-employed and it is entirely your business, which being an author is a business at the same time, you don't have that luxury of being able to shut the door and say, that's today's work done.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get burnt out a lot quicker. And also to feel guilt about needing time away because you're burnt out. And I think that's where, you know, it's very hard to find a balance, but hopefully at some point.
Yeah, because I've like, I don't know why I do these things to myself. I've wrote on my little whiteboard in my room the 42 chapters, and I've like put to-do dates next to them all. So like chapter 4 is due on the 3rd, and it's getting there, and it's like I enjoy what it is, but then also I'm reading into the minutiae of it, and I'm going, oh, this isn't said very well. I like the overarching things that happen. I just don't like how I've written it, and then I'm just staring at it going, why is it not good enough? But
if it helps, every author goes through that way.
That's what I'm like. I'm not sitting here going, meh, I can't do it ever. I'm just like, at the minute, it's not happening very easily, and I'm in a sort of a rut with it. And I think what the answer is, I think again, like you're saying, it's hard with work and everything else to focus on it. But I do feel like if I read more, it's going to help me massively. I think, because this is my problem as well. Like the way my brain works, if I am left to do like completely relax, I find that really depressing, and I find that really like, I don't know, it just really puts me in a rut, and I can sort of not spiral, that's over dramatic, but I can find myself in this thing of just constant.
I think a lot of people feel that way. And then this year in particular, for a lot of people, has been, you know, we've not had as much structure as we previously had. And I think I'm the same as you with that, where I've had a break from work. At my day job, I've been back since August. So, you know, I haven't had time off since August. And then suddenly I've had this Christmas period where I can't see my friends. I can't go and see my family. So I am left with no structure at all, where normally Christmas is filled. It's as exhausting as working. It's filled with seeing people. And as an introvert, that is very exhausting. So I normally need a break straight after Christmas and New Year, as well as my Christmas break to see people. But this year I've had so little structure. And I'm finding myself, I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning, because what for? Yeah. What's the point? And I think a lot of people are on that same wavelength, and it can be very, very hard for people to feel motivated and creative, talking specifically about creative people, when they lack structure to not just their day, but their everyday. And I think that is, you know, it's easy to say, oh, pull yourself together, put structure in place. But when you know there's no consequence or no formal consequence, it's not
That's
the same
what
as
I've
having someone push you.
massively struggled with, is the lack of
Yeah.
formal, as you're saying, consequence. Because at the end of the day, I haven't even got like, I've not got an agent, I've not got a publisher. Nobody is making me, you've got to do it by this date, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. There's literally me, myself, and I. Oh no, obviously you're very supportive, but if I don't make a deadline, you're not going to tell me off.
Well, not just that. It's like once you have an agent and an editor, the editor needs that book by a certain date, or at least so many chapters by a certain date, because they need to look at what you're doing, because their pay relies on you getting paid. They're your editor. They take a percentage, of book sales. Your agent takes a percentage of book sales. So if you don't get that bloody book out on time, and it's a pile of crap when it is out, then the consequences are they're going to get paid this time, but then you're not going to get paid next time because you'll end up dropped, They want people they can sell and who are reliable enough to sell from the date they promise a book by, so that they can make money, because the bookshop needs to make money, or the online seller, whichever, people sometimes don't buy physical books anymore, but hey ho. So whoever, and it all feeds into this system of people getting paid, and essentially we're a capitalist country, but anything that you sell, it's feeding into other people's livelihoods. So because you haven't got that, of course there's no formal consequence for you. The only consequence is it's not done by the time you want it, so then you have a guilt trip.
What I've found maybe is not the nicest way of like dealing with it, but a way that works from how, again, my brain processes information, is I make sure I say to myself, the reason it isn't done is because I didn't do it. It's not work's fault. It's not, I had stuff to do. It's my fault. I didn't make time. And I think that is a way for me personally, that won't work for everybody, that I'm like, well, I'm responsible. No, I did not make the time. I can't say, there wasn't enough time. I didn't make the time. I chose to watch a 20-minute YouTube video in the morning rather than getting up and doing it. I chose to play my, PlayStation rather than doing what I need to do. So that's the way I do it, which is maybe a bit like harsh, but I find that's like, it keeps me motivated.
Yeah. I think it is a good way sometimes, but then I think there is a flip side of that where there are a lot of people out there who have a tendency to really berate themselves, and it's equally as unproductive to sit there berating yourself for not having done the thing. And I think Meg from the Daily Pep, who's like a 5 to 6 minute podcast every day, she's absolutely brilliant, and she is so good at explaining this. So please go over to the Daily Pep if you want motivation, or you want to.
You don't just want like pure
just give yourself
and like from this one.
Or if you want someone who's going to help you give yourself a break for beating yourself up, she is absolutely
that's
brilliant.
The thing I maybe didn't make clear. I don't beat myself up over it. I just go, right, this is my fault, move on.
Yeah. Which is fine for you, but other people would take that and be like, oh shit, I should be beating myself up. I should be like really, there's no point for, excuse my language for a moment, there is no point like whipping a donkey till it dies, because it ain't going to go anywhere then either. It's, if you beat the animal till it can't move, what have you achieved? So don't do that to yourself. Not recommending beating any animals either, by the way.
But don't beat anything. Don't beat anyone.
Don't beat anything. Don't beat yourself up to the point of paralysis because you didn't do the thing. Recognize, accept you didn't do the thing, and move forward from it. And I think that's the healthy. Like, you tend to do that. You move forward. You go, okay, I didn't do the thing. I'll get on the thing. And it's about recognizing that, I think, as well, in a healthy way.
It's good to logically look at what happened, as in,
and why.
Oh, okay. So I was at work, like it was an intense week at work, and I was overstressed. And I didn't want. Okay, that's right. Maybe I should. I'm thinking of stupid examples now, but I can't. All I can think of like is, maybe I should meditate, or have some space. That's why I listen to an audio
meditation isn't stupid.
After work,
if meditation is what does it for you, great. If listening to an audiobook is what does it for you, or maybe doing something that's completely that's mindful for you, if that's what works. If it's colouring in for half an hour to take yourself out of one zone and help you to get to where you need to be. Or some people journal, you know, and sometimes I think journaling can be super, super helpful in terms of, okay, I didn't do something. I really wanted to do that thing at the beginning of the week, but then I lost all motivation. And being able to journal objectively about what happened and then on the other side of the page, put the emotions involved can really help you to untie a lot of things for yourself personally as to what triggers you and how to, you know, how to manage those things, but also to help you achieve goals. Because once you actually understand what's triggered what, and you can then start to look at how to manage it, it unlocks a lot of things. I'm feeling very like cod psychologist.
I know. I don't know what this podcast is to. Like, I'm like, it's a fun little podcast.
It's gone very
two
serious.
Like
it's gone very, very...
And I brought it down. Yeah, I'm sorry for bringing the mood down.
Well, yeah, you did. You brought it down,
me.
Danielle.
You were all up there, and I'm like, I'm going to bring this bitch down.
Right? Happy New Year,
oh, yeah, Happy New Year. I haven't said it yet.
I know, but then this isn't
Did you
going
stay
out
up?
on New Year's Day.
No, it isn't going out on New Year's Day.
No, I did stay up. I stayed up because my dog, as we discussed her last week, the little princess.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like fireworks, does she?
No, she's petrified. So she slept in my room before. So they were going off where I live from like 3:00 in the afternoon. But they weren't too bad. And so she was just staying like glued to my side and sleeping in my bedroom. And I've got like the fire thing on YouTube and, you know, because that helps keep her calm. She likes the sound of a crackling fire. So I put that on. It helps keep her calm. It helps keep me calm. And then all of a sudden at midnight, everyone's got fireworks. And so she is just like frantic. So I had to be awake till about 1. So just to make sure she was okay, and then she settled back down again and they all stopped kind of thing. So
I had work yesterday. So I was up at like 5:30, and then I work like long days, so it's like 13.5 hours. And I got back at about 8:30, and 9 really. And I was supposed to sit in there, and I had my pajamas on, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have a cup of tea first. That's what I want. Because my mum was like, oh, do you want a drink? I'm like, oh, no, I'll have a cup of tea first. So I had a cup of tea, had some chocolate, and then I was sitting there, and my eyes were going. And I'm like, you know when you're that tired, you feel sick?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, boys, I'm going to have to tap out. I'm going to have to leave. Like, this is not... I'm like, I know I'm like 24 and it's New Year's Eve, but honest to God, I'm going to bed. Like, I'm going to go put my heated throw on and I'm going to bed. Like, I am so done. And then
it's the rock and roll.
You know, it's true. People have said it before, and they did put not in front of it, but it's fine. I hear what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But then I'm sleeping, and the people who were having fireworks in my street were like opposite. So I woke up thinking like I'm in Vietnam or something, like
oh god, yeah.
Jesus. And I'd even put earplugs in because I knew that this was coming, because there's always somebody that's got fireworks, and I'm not begrudging people for having fireworks. And I didn't have work the next day this year. I think I'd have been more salty if I'd have had work the next day. But I'm like fuming and like trying to like reposition myself, and I'm thinking, oh, these people, what are they celebrating? Oh yeah, New Year. But it's not.
Yeah, but I mean, come on guys, we've had 2020. Do you really want to celebrate it?
Yeah,
I'm not so keen.
I mean, like, I get like celebrating it's over, but I think I was just a bit grumpingtons last night. I was like, no, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, whereas I'm just generally a cynic, and I'm like, why are you celebrating? Why? I don't like it. Nothing changes because the year has changed, you know? We've still got a pandemic going on. We still have to work out how the hell people are going to be okay.
What have we shown up with?
I know, we've come... I came in kind of like super lighthearted yesterday when I was preparing for this podcast. I was like super on a high. I was like, yeah, podcast tomorrow. I'm so excited. And now I'm like, oh, wow.
What is today?
We
are being very Debbie Downers.
We are being both very Debbie Downer, but I'm gonna lift the spirits by just showing you. No one else can see this, but look at my cup. Yeah. This is my gift from Philippa, and it's a colour change cup.
You're gonna have to describe it for the
when it's hot.
Audio listeners.
So it's basically, I will do. Don't worry, I'm gonna do that right now.
Do it for me.
So basically, my one of my very best friends, Philippa, she bought me a colour change travel cup from a very recognisable chain coffee
With a
brand.
mermaid on the front.
Yeah, and it's green when it's cold, and then when you put hot stuff in it, hot liquid mostly. Please don't just go around putting meatballs and things.
You put me in it.
But
because I'm hot stuff. Is what? Yeah. Did you get my joke?
Yeah,
I
I got it. But yeah, so when it's hot, it goes red, and then you can kind of see where it's cool. It's going green. So I'm like super excited, except for I nearly burnt my hand off when I first put liquid in because there's no sleeve on it. I'm like,
contra.
Yeah. However, she did also get my name put on it, which is really cute.
I think she's trying to show me up in the present buying department.
Yeah, she is. What did you get me, Dani? It's okay, actually. You got me really good.
I was just about to say something you didn't realise you'd asked for, and I listened to you.
No, I know. You did. And that's so I had been trying for a couple of years to get one of my friends, I've got 4 very, very close girlfriends. It's not a group of girlfriends, it's individual. But, and this particular person who was one of my bridesmaids, but also she is an enabler. She's not actually, she's absolutely brilliant, but she enabled me to buy my first pair of irregular choice cat boots. I say first because I've broken them and need to buy a second pair. And she loaned me the money when I was broke to go out and buy these shoes, and I love her always, but even more for that thing. So for a couple of years now, I've desperately been trying to get her some irregular choice tree decorations, but they sell out so quickly, and they're not super cheap, but then also for someone who's like still recovering from being a student, they're kind of like sometimes not affordable. And so this year I managed to buy her 2 because I was like, I have to make up for the year that I couldn't buy her one. Well, I don't have to, but I chose to. And I was telling Danielle about this, and I showed her the 2 tree decorations that I'd bought for my friend, and saying, I really wanted to get one for myself, but I couldn't justify it because I still had presents for other people to buy for Christmas. So Dani surprised me by getting me one, and she actually guessed at which one I would prefer, and she got it so spot on. I was like, wow. Wow.
See?
Yeah, she did. She got me an eggs present, and I'm very
I just think it's some
so
dumb
thank
cup
you,
that
Danielle.
changes colour.
What?
No, I'm joking.
Oh my god.
I'm joking.
Yeah,
no, I like
apologise
Philippa.
to
I like
Philippa as
Philippa.
well.
No, I
Yeah.
do. We got drunk at your wedding.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, and then you declared her your best friend.
Yeah, then we moved on. We're like, Adele, bye. Like,
we're like, Adele, who?
Now.
Who is this wedding we're at now?
No, that's nice. Not
whose wedding is this?
Fuck you. And we like left. We left together.
With the champagne that people had bought for
Yeah.
me for my wedding.
So
yeah.
we had a good time.
You did have a good time. I noticed that.
Yeah, we became good friends. Too close for one evening of interaction, but it was fine.
I mean, I think that happens quite a lot with women when alcohol is involved.
Yeah.
You either become worst enemies, or like normally it's like best friends become worst enemies, and total strangers suddenly become the best of friends and then never speak to each other. I've had that so many times where I've swapped numbers with a girl in the bathroom on a night out and been like, who?
And then
what?
they're not saved
Who was
as
this
like
person
a
I
name,
had
they're saved as like a feature about them.
sometimes
Like
maybe, or sometimes like I did have one girl saved as her name, as I'd chosen to give it to her. So like she had told me her name, and then I think I'd chosen to just be like, I'm gonna give you this nickname. And I mean, this was a long time ago now, and yeah. So and then you read back this conversation, this text conversation you had with this random stranger you just met. Just swapped numbers and had a full-blown drunken text conversation, and the next morning you're reading it back and like, whoa. I was like, that was intense. Yeah. So, yeah, I was, so shout out to Rebecca, who I met in the toilets of a nightclub in Leicester in 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how old I was in 2002 because it'll upset you. I was not going into nightclubs though. I'll tell you that for free.
No, and I actually think it was 2000, and it was possibly 2000 or just 2001 because I went to visit my ex-boyfriend, who was my ex at the time. at his student accommodation in Leicester, and we went to a club where I promptly threw up everywhere. I think I threw up on the dance floor. That's how classy I am.
What murder on the dance floor? It was vomit on the dance floor.
Vomit on the dance floor. Yeah, 50p a shot though. It had been 50p a shot, and I'm pretty sure I hadn't eaten because I'd been travelling.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous, very dangerous, and trying to keep up with people who were drinking a lot because they were students and I was not. It's a dangerous game. So.
Oh, should I tell? I just thought I haven't said what was floating my boat this week. It's been a.
Oh no, you didn't. You had a big rant about how. We are, and you had this huge rant about how you haven't read anything, and
that was more of an admission than a rant. I was ranting at myself.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but we got all serious for a minute, and now you need to tell me what has been floating your boat.
It got real dark for a second. If you ever just want to skip past the middle, like 20 minutes of this podcast, it gets real weird for a bit. We had to like a strange.
It's very serious.
Because I'm a big gamer boy. I like my video games. I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla for Christmas, which basically you just get to be a Viking. So I've been playing that, but again, because I've been writing so much, I haven't played video games in a long time, and the only thing I have been playing before that was Animal Crossing. So it's a real tonal shift to like just bobbing about, putting trees in places and picking fruit and stuff, to like beheading people. But I've been quite enjoying it, even though like the buttons were not sinking in for a very long time. I kept pressing because I'm like Animal Crossing controls, which were not what was needed, but that's what my head was going, oh, these are the right buttons. But I had some issues at first, like when I first tried to go on it, because my remote control like had drifting going on, so it's like where your camera moves up. So I'm trying to shoot people and like kill people, but my camera's just constantly panning up. So I'm like hitting the sky, and I'm like, no, go down, go down, go down. So I've had to buy a new remote control, which wasn't fun.
Oh, so you actually have had to...
I've had to purchase.
You told me about this, yeah. You told me about this, and you said, oh, I've tried resetting it, because that was something you've read online. But no, you had to
buy a whole new one. I went into Curry's PC World, and they were like, nah, we ain't got none. And then we were about to walk away, and I was like out with my mum because we were getting stuff for... what was it? Oh, yeah, Christmas, that thing that happened.
that thing.
You know, that thing. And not Christmas, it was New Year, because she got it me for Christmas. Why would it be Christmas that we were buying stuff for? Anywho, and she was like, oh, look next door, the Smith's Toy Superstores. Why don't you try in there? And so then I had to go in Smith's Toy Superstore with all these children, and I'm like barging my way past them to like the counter, and then I'm saying to the skinniest looking white boy I've ever seen in my life, being like, hello, do you have the DualShock 4 controller, please? And then we have like this big nerd conversation. I can just feel my mother in the background going, God, what have I raised? What is this child of mine? This is a 24-year-old woman, and she's asking this nerd boy for some, like a controller. Ugh. But it was a good time.
But you know what? It was a good time for everyone.
I mean, I'm 50 quid short, but so it's not my idea of a good time, but it was acceptable.
No, but now you can actually play
as God would intend.
You can, yeah, exactly, without just staring up at the sky.
Yeah, because I'm trying to shoot people
all the time.
I'm trying to just like ride a boat and just constantly. No,
it's very romantic that you were just in the middle of trying to kill people, staring up at the clouds and appreciating them, but doesn't help you to actually aim at the people you're killing, or
trying to raid a village here
to dodge,
trying to like murder some
fools.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to keep your reputation. And
I'm a fierce Viking. I come downstairs now and like slam a cup on the table and go, "This is for Thor, mother," and like start eating all the food like, because I'm a Viking now.
Yeah, you'd be growing a beard.
I mean, I used to shave my beard, but not anymore. Now I'm gonna accept who I am. Get my beard on.
I mean, exactly. Get that beard. Get a little plaque going on it.
Yeah, because I've been iffing and not, because you can change your gender in the game. You can be a lady Viking or a male Viking. I started as a lady Viking, and now I've changed it up to a dude Viking. I'm trying it out. I'm seeing what's.
See how it feels. Yeah, to not have to shave your legs and
I don't think the Lady Viking was going to shave her legs. I don't think that was a... She has like all scars and stuff, tattoos. She was cool.
But did you ever get to see a bit of leg on the Lady Viking?
No.
Because
it's very cold where
I'm curious.
we were. I forget where we were. But it's very, very snowy. I haven't got to England yet. I haven't played a massive amount of it. Because, again, work and writing and everything else. And I'm like, I can't justify this expensive time. So I'm going to have to turn around now.
Bless you. But I am curious as to know whether Lady Vikings shave their legs. So if anyone has seen a bit of Lady Viking leg, I really want to know. I just need to know.
What would they shave it with? It's like a little I don't
know. What did you know that? Right. Okay. I'm going to geek out for a moment. When I was back in my day, when I was about 13, I asked for the Body Shop book. And in the Body Shop book, it had lots of history on skincare and beauty. And one of the things I learned was even back in ancient Egypt, people would they would remove their hair. I couldn't remember the word for it, but there is a word for it. Anyway, they would actually remove their hair using either sharpened shells as razors, or, you know, like clamshells that clamp together to pull hairs out like tweezing. So people did remove hair way back. I'm not saying that ladies shaved their entire legs, but men, as you know, the like Tutankhamun's mask and all that with the goatees and things, but men did choose to remove facial hair and shape facial hair using certain tools, and those tools were normally from shell or bone or, you know, sharpened tools basically to do that with. So you think it's not possible, but actually Lady Vikings might have had their very own razors.
I think they had a lot on, though, to be fair. Like, I know the game is very inaccurate, but there seems a lot of violence, and there's a lot of raiding, and there's a lot of like, this is my land now, and I'm like, whoa, I don't think these ladies got time.
I know, but surely, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. If they had time to procreate, which clearly they did, otherwise us Sassenachs wouldn't be here right now. So clearly they had time to procreate, which probably means they had to, you know, do a little bit of prep.
Okay, I've got to prep for this.
Maybe. Maybe just a dip in the river, clean off the old armpits, untangle the underarm hair. Well, they're not shaving it.
How long does it get? Like, you have to untangle it.
I don't know because we're modern women, and I assume you do. Well, no, I know you do, but we both remove.
You got to be careful you say that. Like that just implies something I don't know.
Well, I mean, basically it implies that you have shared your method of hair removal with me.
Well, that you've been sniffing around my armpits, which I'm not a fan of.
I mean, maybe that's like, despite the fact you are meant to be social distancing, that's all I've done all year is like get.
I knew
right
I could feel something around there.
I
just couldn't turn around quick enough because I get motion sick. So that's what you.
Yeah,
that's what you've been doing.
It's exactly what I've been doing. Like, you haven't caught me, and so I've had to confess it. You confessed you haven't read a book for a month.
2.
I confessed I've spent 2 months. Oh yes, we're in January. I keep forgetting that. But yeah, I've confessed I've spent 2020 sniffing your armpits.
Ooh.
Give him a bit of a lick.
Oh no, I don't like this like joke anymore. It's upsetting me.
It's gone very, very dark again.
Why is it so dark today?
I don't know. It's the 1st of January. We're recording this on the 1st of January. Happy New Year.
This is going out on like the 18th.
Darkness, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, but I mean, we are starting the new year in a very, very dark place. Yeah, it's gone. So last week seemed really jovial, really fun. Jokey. Yeah, and I think this is, as we were saying earlier about how like lack of structure can lead to a bit of like depression and can lead to people feeling a bit lost. This is what happens to the podcast. Yeah. This is what happens to us with lack of structure. I mean, it got to the point the other night where my current boyfriend, I say current because, you know, never know, mentioned something about like driving. I took my theory test and failed it, but I was at my boyfriend and I were in a bubble, so I was at his house the night before because I knew that he has to get up early for work, so that means I have to get up early. I'd be there on time. Cool. And the night before he mentioned something, and I said about driving my ex's car, and he was like, "What, your ex-boyfriend?" And I was like, my ex-husband. But then it got me on this little route of thinking about my ex-boyfriend, who is the person who I was with before my husband. So I've gone ex-boyfriend, husband to current boyfriend. And it made me, like, I haven't seen this guy for 10 years. We broke up 10 years ago this year. And we weren't even together that long. However, like, I never got mad at him. Never got mad at my ex-boyfriend because less than 2 months later, I was in a relationship with my future husband of that period. So I never got mad. I was sad, then met my husband, fell completely head over heels, never had time to like really reflect and get mad at this ex. And then my boyfriend brought up accidentally, just said, "Oh, your ex-boyfriend." And I got super, super, like, I was in bed. And it made me laugh so much as well as like being mad, because I was like, I'm irrationally angry at this dude that I split up with
10 years ago.
after 10 years ago, after only being together for 4 months. And I was just like I couldn't even pinpoint what I was kind of angry at him for. I was angry at him for ghosting me. I mean, that's a big thing. He ghosted me. But I was also super angry that he let me pick out his car. He let me pick out his car and it was such a huge deal because it was a brand new car. It was not a cheap, second hand. It was a brand new 30 grand car. He let me pick it out, and then 2 months down the line just ghosted me. And I was fuming.
So mad.
Who does that? Yeah, like still even now. So I'm finally having this like crazy time, and I think that's probably what's made everything a little bit dark. But too much time to reflect.
Just thinking about him.
But yeah, like this
bitch.
guy, like so I got mad because he told me to dance with his friend when we were on a night out. He told me to dance with his friend, who was a much better dancer than him. So when he came back after doing whatever he needed to do, because, I couldn't be left alone for 10 seconds, came back, saw me dancing, like grinding on his friend, which we were in an R&B club. It was appropriate for the place we were at.
You're
so
on
he saw me like grind. No, but I mean, I would never have done anything with his friend. I'm not that kind of person. But also, like, I knew his friend's girlfriend. We were just dancing. That's how you dance in those places. And for me, yeah, it is. And so we were just having a little grind, just a little one.
A little grind.
Like, yeah, just having a little grind after being told to by my boyfriend. And he comes back and his face is like thunder when he sees us. I'm like, dude, you told me to dance with him.
He told you to dance, not to grind.
With grinding is dancing. If I
It's
was
a
like
very
dry
broad spectrum.
humping
You've
him,
got to narrow it down. You can't just tell me to dance.
yeah, exactly. Especially in the kind of club we were at. And like, I can't help it if your friend's a much better dancer with you, and I can get much better dancer with you than you, and I can get so much more into it with him and like really enjoy myself dancing.
Oh, Adele.
Yeah, I mean, I know. What is it with me picking these bad dancers? My husband
Yeah, that's
was
what
horrific.
I took away from the story, definitely. Is that you pick bad dancers.
Yeah. No, not just that, but days later we went to visit his brother, who lived further upstate because we were in Florida at the time. He lived further upstate, so we went to see his brother for this like white coat ceremony to become a dentist. And he like left me alone to tie his brother's tie, and it was all like very nice. I was on all these like family photos, and then we come back and 2 days later he's ghosting me. I'm in England, don't hear a single bloody word from him. Yeah, I'm fuming.
I think there was mistakes
Yeah,
on both sides, I'm going to say it.
I mean, you say this, but then this guy was, I forget what it's called, but he was like playing some game online.
Don't say like that.
Yeah,
Don't make me feel dirty.
And I can't even, it was not World of Warcraft, but it was
it Warhammer?
something. No, it wasn't like, it was a witch, it was like a magic thing, but it was like, you know how World of Warcraft spells out WoW?
Yeah. Wow.
It was something similar. Wow. It was like something that spelled out LOL or something, I can't remember.
Was it League of Legends?
Anyway, yes, it was League of Legends. Thank you very much for
That's
that,
1
Danielle.
point to the nerd girl in the corner. Thank you.
So, like, I flew out from Britain to Florida to see my boyfriend, spend quality time with him. Could have spent that quality time with my actual friends at home in Britain. But no, I went over to Florida to be with him. And he spent, out of the 10 days that I was there, he must have spent like 3 hours every day on League of fucking Legends.
I would be a bit salty about that, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So when we go out on a night out and you tell me to dance with your friend who's a much better dancer, don't get fucking salty with me, sunshine. Don't get fucking salty. And then don't lead me on to be part of your family and just like suddenly, after going out to your brother's white coat ceremony, ghost me as if I've done something wrong. Because believe me, hon, you weren't.
I'm glad
all
you've
that.
moved on from this. It
And-
makes me feel good.
Yeah, I have. I know, right? I'm in a relationship that's kind of happy, you know, pretty happy at the minute. And you would think that I would save all this bitterness for the husband that I left after 3 months of marriage, but no,
Oh,
I've saved this bitterness in
That's
10 years.
People are gonna ask so many questions about that.
I know, right? Well, that's a story for it's one of the dumb things I've done in my life is get married. Sorry.
The wedding was beautiful. I really enjoyed myself. I don't know if you did.
I didn't. No, I didn't
I
enjoy
did.
myself, but I will admit that
Your
I
wedding
did
was the
a lot
best
of
day
work.
of my life.
Thanks, Dan.
Oh,
yeah, so
God.
out of all the dumb things I've done,
We'll have to save
if we're
that
gonna
for
play-
a big episode.
yeah, we will save that for a big episode. And at some point, you know, there's a lot of dumb stuff I've done in my life, but that one is top trumps. That one wins every game of top trumps. So, but yeah, so I just got really, really randomly mad at this guy, who I assume is still alive in Florida somewhere. Shout out to you, dude.
My dude.
Dude.
My dude, yeah.
Who let me buy, well, not let me buy, but who let me choose this Hyundai Sonata, or as Americans say, Hyundai Sonata,
Sonata.
and name her Betty, and
That's a good
then
name, though.
ghosted me. I know, right? And she was a beautiful
I want to
car.
call my camper
like
van
the-
Betty when I get one.
Oh,
She's gonna be
nice.
blue.
But she was beautiful. And she was black. My Betty was
Mm.
black, but she was absolutely stunning. And like, I got to choose that car. I got to like be in it when she was brand new. And then he ghosted me. And I was devastated about the car, to be fair. I missed that car for quite some
Not
time.
him.
Even after I'd
The
moved
car.
on. Well, no, because in the end of the day, don't get me wrong, he made me laugh for a short period of time, but he couldn't dance. And
And
he
if you
wasn't,
don't dance,
like,
and if you don't dance, then you're no friend of mine.
well, he introduced me to his two brothers, and out of the three brothers,
Oh,
I'm
you got the
telling you,
worst
he was
brother.
not the best looking. Yeah, I got the worst brother. He was the
That's
oldest.
Like I've never wanted to be a twin because there's always a better twin. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Oh
And I would
God,
be
yeah.
the
Like
worst
I
twin,
married a twin.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I married a twin. Unfortunately, I married the worst twin.
Oh, see,
Oh, I know.
can't.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I didn't realise, but now I
Hindsight.
look back and I go, oh,
Hindsight's 20/20.
hindsight. I definitely got the evil twin.
You should have gone for the better twin.
Yeah, but he wasn't as good looking.
Wow.
I know. I mean, I'm not going to say that now because they're identical twins. So actually, it just is a perspective issue. But yeah, so yeah, out of the times when I've married people who not married, I've only married
gonna
once.
say,
But
what?
out of the relationships I've had where there have been twins involved, because this guy in Florida, his younger brother was also a twin to his sister. That definitely I've ended up with the wrong brother. Definitely.
Poor choices.
I know.
Poor choices.
Yeah, and the guy in Florida, I did actually have a little mini moment with his brother who was a twin.
Adele.
I didn't mean to. I had to do up his tie for his white coat ceremony, and
You're a bad person. I'm saying it.
I didn't. I got told help him do his tie. This guy was a person who told you to do things, which, given I don't drive and I was stuck in the middle of Florida,
You end up doing things.
not a choice. Yeah, you do end up doing things. So like this guy tells me, like he introduces me to his baby brother. And he's only like 25 at the time, 24, 25, the baby brother. So definitely in my age range. And so he's like, he doesn't know how to do up a tie. He's never done a tie.
Never done a
So I was
tie?
like, yeah, I can do a tie. Yeah, I had to do them for school, you see. So
Yeah, me too.
you know, Catholic schoolgirls, as we are, we
Yeah.
had to wear ties. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I can do a tie. So he's like, oh yeah, do his tie for
Do
him.
his tie.
And then he just leaves me alone in his brother's dorm room to do up this freaking tie. Yeah. So then afterwards, like, I'm doing it, and it's quite an intimate thing. I don't know if you've ever done up a man's tie or a woman's tie, whoever you are who's listening. whatever your preference is. Like when you're doing up someone's tie, it's very close contact. You can't do it from like an arm's distance away. You have to be very in there, and you're kind of like, depending on the height, you know, faces are very close. And so I did this kind of tie, and I could feel there was a little bit of electricity, but you know, I ignored it because I was with his brother.
Sorry.
And so like the brother kind of goes to high five me, very American, goes to high five me, and I'm like about to like high five him back, about to move my hand away, and he links my fingers.
Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like you.
I mean, it was, and then all of a sudden the brother that I'm actually dating walked in, and so it's like a sharp. I know.
That's
but then
so American. That's like the most American thing. High five turns into linked head. Stop it. Stop it. Go home.
You're so anti-romance on any level. You're like, you are the queen of anti-romance.
I'm not anti-romance. I'm just anti-cringe. Like, it's so gross.
Well, it wasn't at the time, though. It was very in the moment.
Oh.
No, it wasn't gross at the time. All I can say, it was very in the moment at that point in time. So then, like, the brother comes back in as that happens. The brother I'm dating comes back in. So we all kind of, like, go and sit down. And as I'm sat next to the brother that I'm dating, the other brother keeps, like, looking over at me. And I'm like, oh, God, this is all.
Does he want another handhold? Like,
well, I know. Well, no. But the thing is, this is the worst part. Overall, had I met the other brother first, I definitely would have done. Because not so much just even based on looks, but based on, like, personality. You can't really, unless he'd have been a doctor, you can't beat a dentist. Sorry. You just can't
beat
because
a dentist. What, in like hand-to-hand combat?
We had
like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, in terms of, we both had an interest in the human body as more than just... And an intellectual level, we had a lot in common, let's put it that way. Much more than with his brother, who only really made me laugh because he used to sing the Turtles theme tune down the phone to me.
Like, as in, what do you mean, Turtle?
Teenage Mutant. No, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Oh my God. How does it go?
It's
Sing
very
it for me.
easy to please it. I'm not,
sing
no,
it
I'm not
down
singing
the
it. I'm not
phone
singing
for me.
it. No, I am not
sing
singing
it. Down
it.
a phone for me.
Not gonna
sing
sing
it down
that
a
for
mic
you.
for me.
If I could get him to sing it, like, I had no contact with him.
Can you
He could be
imagine
dead.
that conversation
could-
like 10 years later? You just get a text from
Hi.
a girl that you dated and it's just like, hey, can you sing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme tune? Just for me, one more time.
Yeah.
Just for old time's sake.
And just make sure you record it properly.
Yeah, I want a
first.
decent audio
So,
quality.
yeah.
Can you get a good microphone? Thank you. It's for a podcast.
I wouldn't tell him it's for a podcast. I'd just be like, hey, you know, you used to do that for me.
You know that thing you used to do for me? Wait, what? sing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme. Oh my God, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
It is so dumb. So freaking dumb. And it's one of the very dumb things. I've done so much dumb shit, but that is, dating him was probably, it's up there. Traveling alone to meet a stranger in Florida.
What?
Again. Oh yeah, that's
your
like,
stories always are very stressful. They're so stressful to listen to.
I'm alive though, aren't I? I am alive. We're all good.
But it still stresses
But
me
yeah,
out.
I remember how worried. But no, I had actually Googled murders in the area. So like I knew where he lived. He'd sent me his address and everything. And we'd been talking, like I say, we'd been talking for months and months before I went out there. So he had previously sent me his address. And so I Googled any kind of murders, rapes and kidnaps for 40 miles sort of circumference around the area to make sure. Because, you know, you need to check out serial killers. And if he was going to be a serial killer, most of them work within a certain area, a range between where they work and where they live. So I was like, cool. I know where he works, what company it is. I know where he lives. I can check out, see how many reported murders, rapes, kidnaps have been.
Wow. It's romantic, though. It's a real romantic story.
It is. It's very romantic. I've always been that kind of like caution to the wind, romantic, very whimsical kind of person that just, you know, goes, screw it.
That's not my vibe.
Let's see if this guy's a murderer
that is
or
not
not.
the vibe I present to the world.
No, you're definitely much more I'm going to check if you're a murderer by hitting you in the throat and seeing what you do kind of girl.
I mean, no, I'm not a violent person. Don't, sell me as that to the people. Like, that's not fair.
No, but that's your mental vibe.
Oh, I come across
you're
as
mentally
ice cold.
throat pushing. Yeah, you're mentally throat punching them to see their reaction.
I'm just sussing you out. I'm just figuring what go on. Like, what's going on? Why am I wet? Go, that's rain. That's a good song, actually. Sorry, just got stretched again. That's just I think that's the thing with me, though. I'm very no, maybe standoffish is the word.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
But once you get to I warm up,
you warm up like a
heated blanket on level 9. Yeah. No, once I'm comfortable with a person, I'm very friendly and affectionate and nice.
Are you?
I have tried to hug you on many occasions, and you deny.
No, you haven't. I think
love.
the last time you tried to hug me was my wedding, and you were drunk, and you were using me not to hug me. You were using me as a leaning post.
Well,
as our friends tried to get you out of the
door
because
No, actually, you're more affectionate because every time you get drunk, you love your women when you're drunk. You really love them.
No, I do that because I know it I love. See, this is when I get drunk. I'm either one way or the other. And one way is I'm just really out there and dancing all night. If there's a dance floor, I am on it. But if there's no dance floor, I become a little bit disruptive.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I try and make everyone as uncomfortable as possible. And if that means flirting with them because they're not into women, I will flirt. And if that means telling someone how I'm going to hide in their cupboard until they're asleep and then climb into bed with them, I'll also do that.
Wow. You're creepy. No, I've never realised how creepy you
are.
are.
I can't help it though. But like I say, it's one of those things when I'm drunk, if I've got no outlet for all this energy, it becomes disruptive energy and I get kind of that's what I do.
Why
I never have any intention of doing any of it.
Friends, if I'm honest.
No, I know.
We're very much opposites, but maybe it's because opposites attract,
Maybe, yeah. We have had one or two occasions where we got drunk and I haven't got disruptive. But again, those were occasions where there was at our friend Amy's engagement party, there was a dance floor.
We were the
drunkest, and I was very much
there.
We were the drunkest. We have a friend who's normally the weird one of the group. We love him to bits, but he is normally the person you can rely on to be the weirdo of the group.
He's a strange boy.
And we got there, and he was being super normal.
He had a Diet Coke, and he was holding a conversation, and I felt sick.
Yeah, holding a conversation with two complete strangers, and it was a normal conversation.
Made me feel dirty, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we were we turned up. We'd already been drinking for a good couple of hours beforehand.
Gone to a Weatherspoons and got so drunk.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, yeah. And we turn up and everyone else is just starting. It's a proper family engagement party,
it was
and we are
not going to be a family affair.
Oh my god, yeah. So we're there, absolutely stinking drunk, loud as you can be, giggling. Oh god, we're awful. And thank God at some point in the night the dancing kicked off, so I was able to go and get rid of a little bit of energy before I headed out, because I had another party to go to afterwards. I had a birthday. Yeah. So I mean, we were the embarrassing university friends.
Drunk.
The two single women that are probably everyone cringes at looking at. Oh my god, what are they doing? That was us. That was definitely you and me at Amy's engagement party.
Sorry.
And we'll never be invited to anything else together again.
That's bad.
I've noticed I haven't been invited to Ian's wedding next year, and that's probably why.
I have. That's all I'm saying about that. I've been invited to the wedding.
Clearly they don't know which one of us is worse when they're drunk.
I think I'm bad when I'm drunk, but I'm terrible when I'm drunk with you.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, I'm actually a little bit better when I'm drunk with you, because I don't tend to just be
I think you bring me up and I bring you down, and we kind of
yeah, we kind of I get calmed by you and you get riled, and it's
a nice
we kind of meet in the middle. Whereas when I get drunk with other people, I mean, people have been locked in car boots to see if they can get out, that's stuff that happens when I get drunk with people.
Wow. Okay.
She didn't get out. We let her out in the end, but she didn't get out by herself. That's another story.
Another story for
Philippa
another
and
time.
I.
Oh, I was just thinking
sorry.
of like dumb things. Did you want me to tell the story about my nan doxing me?
Oh gosh, yes, I still haven't heard this song.
I
This
haven't heard this
story.
amazing song. Okay, so again, another caveat to this. I got COVID recently, so I was like locked down in my house and I couldn't leave, and we were just in all the time.
Can we just say you got COVID from work, not from being an actual idiot and
Yes,
socialising?
I got
that
it
you
from
shouldn't
work.
be? Yeah, let's put that. Yeah,
I
she
work
got it
in a
from work.
hospital, so I mean it was a COVID ward, and I got COVID from work.
Yeah.
And I was at home with my mum watching telly, and we were like, oh, what should we watch? And Netflix recently released something called The Ripper, which is about the Yorkshire Ripper. And we sat and watched it all. And it's 4 episodes long, an hour each. So it's quite intense. A lot of murder and death and blah, blah, blah. And then they were looking, like my mum's boyfriend came down and they wanted to watch something else. And I said, watch Don't Fuck With Cats, because that is a really good one. It's crazy.
Oh my god!
Look at my nada. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So then they watched an hour of that. So I've essentially watched 5 hours of murder is what I've watched. And then I went, right, I'm going to go to bed now. And like I get into bed, put some silly stuff on, and then I'm like, oh, I'll go sleep. And then I try to go to sleep. And I keep having like really bad dreams. And I think, oh no, I'll put my light on. But I don't know if I'm a bit paranoid, but I have this like irrational fear of fires, like a fire starting in the house.
Oh, me too.
So I don't like leaving things on. It really stresses me out.
No, I don't either. Yeah, everything gets turned off.
It all gets turned off.
Everything.
So I was like, well, I want a light on. I'm a 24-year-old woman, but I want a light on because I'm a bit, like, I keep waking up scared. And like...
Well,
Yeah, I feel like I just can't settle. If I'm having really bad dreams, I normally need a light on and then I'm fine. So I thought, I'll put my phone on and turn it the other way around so it's like a torch and blah, blah, blah. So then I managed to get to sleep and yada, yada. And then some cards are put through the door when I come downstairs in the morning, and they're from my nan.
Oh god, I thought you meant in the middle of the night.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, that's creepy.
So there's some Christmas cards have been put through the door, because obviously we can't come out, so she's chucked them in. And then, we're having breakfast, moving on with the day. And then having my dinner, and then I get a phone call from her. And, we're all round the table, me, my mum, her boyfriend, and we're all just chatting and everything. And then in the middle of this conversation, she just goes, why was your light on at 6 o'clock this morning? I'm like, oh, God. And then I'm looking at everyone, and everyone's looking at me. And then because I haven't responded instantly, everyone's going, why was your light on at 6 o'clock this morning? And I'm thinking, do I lie? What do I lie about? And then I didn't know what to say, so I just went, I had bad dreams. I had bad dreams. And my mum's boyfriend is howling, crying. And then my mum's looking at me, and I can see her doing the maths in her head going, it's 24 years too late for an abortion. Like, I can see her thinking that. And I'm going, oh my God. So yeah, she just like called me out, and I'm like, how do I respond to this? I had bad dreams, so I put the light on and instantly lost the respect of everyone.
I'm gonna say though, Dani, I have so much I am with you on this, because when I was actually I was with my husband, and he was from California, so we were over in California, and I will try and keep this brief because I realise how long we've been talking for now. But we went to it was a museum I had agreed to go to. It's called the Death Museum. And I thought it was going to be like death rituals from ancient Egypt, how the Jewish religion buries people, that kind of thing.
Day of the
Super
Dead kind
interesting
of stuff.
stuff to me. Yeah, stuff that's interesting to me. We got there. It's in Hollywood. Well, it's not quite in Hollywood, but it's in a divey area of Los Angeles. Let's put it that way. You wouldn't particularly want to be there alone in the day, let alone at night. And we were in the day. So we go in, and basically it's like, it's not a death museum. It's a bloody serial killer museum. And nearly all of the serial killers that were featured were from Los Angeles or the surrounding areas. And admittedly, some of them were from the 1960s and 70s, but they'd got the boiler suit that John Wayne Gacy was electrocuted in. They'd got all of this stuff about Richard Ramirez, who was very much California, in the area that my husband grew up in. That's where he went around murdering and raping ladies and killing their husbands after making them watch. And so this whole museum, 4 entire filled rooms of just murder after murder after murder in the Southern California, Los Angeles area. And it was around July 4th, so it was coming up for the holiday for July 4th. And we were staying on it's a hotel that used to be a cruise ship, where there is little security and anyone can just walk on, pretty much. So I did not sleep properly that entire time. I couldn't eat for like days. We were going out with friends to eat, and I was like, no, I don't want to go. I want to be back in. I want to lock the doors.
Don't go outside.
It was like, and around the 4th of July, like, I don't know what it's like anywhere else in America, but around the 4th of July in this specific area of Los Angeles, there are a lot of different cultures, but they all celebrate the 4th of July. And you can go down certain streets and they've got fireworks going off in the street. So as you're driving at like 5 miles an hour max. Which, when it's like dark and you're driving at 5 miles an hour down a crowded street, and you've been to a museum that features all serial killers around the area, you realise just how vulnerable you are at 5 miles an hour in a crowded area. It was not a good time. So I am 100% with you. I could not sleep. After visiting that museum, I could not sleep properly for the rest of that trip. And I was going home. Thank God, I think I went home on something like the 6th of July. So I wasn't there for too much longer. But holy hell, it made me very paranoid the next time I was going over again in September. And it made me paranoid again then. More than I've ever felt, vulnerable in Britain. Which I know we are vulnerable, but it made me feel so... Because... It is so vast, and people do get away with murder quite literally in America a lot. So 100% with you there, Dani. I would have had a light on too. So, if that makes you feel better.
I feel better now.
Yeah.
I
hope
less
so.
Of, a
yeah,
child.
but as if your nan doxed you.
Yeah, she just called me out. Why was your light on? I'm like, oh no.
You should have. I would have made something.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Like,
then I start panicking, and then my brain is just thinking of like, what can I say? What can I say? And then obviously they can see the fact that I'm thinking, and then it looks worse. Everything looks worse now. When I'm like, well, honesty is the best policy. I just panicked. I just panicked.
You could have. I mean, I probably would have gone really gross and been like, well, I was digging out my favourite vibrator. And then she'll never dox you again.
Never speak to me again. Hit me with a Bible.
Send you to be cleansed by the local vicar.
Go be cleansed. Yeah, you'll just see me just getting like baptized again by the local church. I'm like, right, I'm gonna have to say it. We're gonna have to call it. We're already at like.
I know we've talked for far too long. I'm sorry.
So
I feel like I've dominated this week. I'm like, bitch, listen to me.
Adele. It's been really dark. It's been really weird. We promised you a light time of friends being silly.
Yeah, we promised friends being silly and having fun, but actually we've now got to apologise.
Yeah, we apologise for what you've just heard.
It
was really dark.
It was too dark at times. It went really dark, a little bit lighter, and back to really dark.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry for what you've just heard. Forgive us, please.
So yeah, come back next week for even more light entertainment.
Well, 2 weeks. We've discussed this.
2 weeks, yeah, I know. I was joking.
Well, they don't know that. Thank you. You must maintain the order of what is happening or you'll confuse people. Thank you very much.
I thought I'm meant to be the autistic one and stick to all the rules, not you.
Oh my God.
Christ.
Christ. Right. What are you doing? Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun.